back. What's going on, everybody? Jeremy Ritz here. Courage pays better than fear. I got the shirt on. Get the hell to work. And that's a message for me after being on vacation, which feels like the entire summer. And they weren't big, extravagant vacations. Vacation meaning time off from the daily routine, time off from the day-to-day grind, just getting time to disconnect and step away from everything. Most importantly, being with family, my kids. We just got done with a bike ride, and they're going to be going back to school here soon, and so it's time to get after it. So we are going to be ramping up the content, getting back into the swing of things. And the markets this week, we had a positive day, slightly up, I think like 0.63 on the SPX, nothing crazy. Really choppy, not a ton of newsworthy things that were happening out there. And really this week, in terms of data, we're going to get some housing data that's going to come through, but nothing that's going to be massively moving the markets. And really what we want to watch for is Friday, when we have Jerome Powell speak at Jackson Hole, because we're going to be looking to see if he has anything to say about potential rate cuts in September, because the market is pricing in a rate cut. Is he going to hint towards that? Is he going to mention 25 basis points? Is he going to mention a half a point? We don't know. So that's really what a lot of traders are going to be waiting for, what he has to say in Jackson Hole. And the one thing that always sticks in my mind is back in 2022 when we were in the bear market, and he said that there's going to be some pain that households are going to have to survive as a result of inflation with the interest rates being raised. And if you remember back during that time period in 22, the markets were on a bit of a rally, but when he spoke and he said those things, you saw it get crushed, right? The markets dropped hard. So we really want to be cognizant and aware of what he has to say on Friday, and really just be prepared for the volatility to come into play and see what happens. So that is on the radar. In terms of other big data, we're really not going to get that until the following week, when we will get an updated GDP number. We'll get updated PCE, and oh yeah, we get NVDA earnings next week. This week, in terms of earnings, we have Walmart, we have Target, which it's not going to be enough to move the market, but we will get an insight into the health of the consumer. So will be interesting to see what they have to say, but really it's all about NVIDIA next week. And I'm not going to have a 3-part series to put together for this earnings report, but I will say the last report that they had, the last earnings report, they did gap up. It couldn't hold. They were in the 140s at that time, actually 130s, high 130s, pushed into the 140s, fell back down, and then started that grind higher like we have seen here recently up into the 180s. Now, historically, as of late, NVIDIA hasn't been a great performer in August, but we've seen this August be strong. We've seen all-time highs get hit. We haven't seen that seasonal weakness come into play. So the question that we have to ask is, are we going to see potentially NVIDIA push higher? And I have the NVIDIA hat on here today because I can't find my other one, my Nobody Cares Work Harder hat. I don't know what happened to it. But anyway, so we're going to be watching that for next week. NVIDIA earnings, GDP, PCE, so lots of data coming in. And then we're getting ready for September. Next week is the last trading week of August, which is crazy. And if you think that August was bad, September is the worst month, I believe, in the market. So I'll have some data for you coming on that. I'll have the September preview. And then October typically marks the lows. We see buyers come in, the bounce out of there. So a lot of fun. Are we going to get a Santa Claus rally this year? So much to look forward to, but that kind of gives you the lay of the land in terms of what we are looking at this week. In terms of trades for me today, I did open a swing trade position in HIMS, and at the end of last week, I opened a swing trade position in Robinhood. So I think that there's upside potential on both of those. So I'm going to be watching those closely as I am monitoring those trades. And you know, no real day trades. I did close some cash secured puts on the trade desk today for a tiny win, but I'm just gonna monitor the swing trades and see how that plays out. So no day trades for me today. And that's gonna do it for this episode of Driven. I appreciate you guys very much for joining me here for the show, for dealing with my absence. I am back. I appreciate you guys. Love you. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that, and I'll see you back here for the next episode. Take care, everyone.